single day and night. Even when you start acting like a fool, you know I'm loving every single thing you do. Can always be myself around you more than anybody else. Hey, 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 Betty! My name is Unapologetically Crazy, and I'm just your normal's 90s baby to take you back, way back in time. And I'm back with another reaction slash review slash story time. Who knows what this is going to be? Just stay tuned. Alright guys, let's go ahead and get into it. If you're like me and you remember your childhood memories, you remember how Disney used to pull at your heartstrings, you remember how much fun and laughter it used to be just to get home from school or wake up on a Saturday morning, turn on your TV, sit down with your bowl of cereal, and laugh at your favorite cartoon? This is what the Proud Family reminds me of. This is what the Proud Family brings to me. Because I recently just watched the whole thing, and let me tell you, this show still aged very well and is hilarious to this day because now I get all the jokes and whatnot. The Proud Family came out around the 1990s, probably like 1999. It was originally supposed to show on Nickelodeon, but somehow it just didn't work out. So around 2001, Jambalaya Studios and Disney Channel, they connected, and the Proud Family was boom, on your screen. The one thing that most of us remember why we love this cartoon so much is because it was typically an African-American based cartoon. Not saying that African-Americans were the only person who watched it, but most of us watched it and could really realize that everything from the music to the script to the area to just the jokes was mostly African-American representation. And this was monumental for the time period because you didn't have that many shows that was representing us in a positive light. Even though there was other cultural diversity in the show. There was a Chinese family or Asian family, there was Hispanic family, there was, Caucasian and so on and so forth. But you didn't get the run-of-the-mill, typical African-American shenanigans that you get in most shows. Here you have a straight-A student, Penny Proud, living with her mother, who is a veterinarian professional, her father, who is an entrepreneur, even though I'm not quite sure if any of his products actually work, who also lived with their grandmother, who was in the parents' life, and you had two little sisters and a dog. A typical family, but not so typical. Oh, and you have the uncle that comes in all the time singing, old school music that sounds like a mix of Funkadelics and other 70s music groups. Yeah, Bobby was hilarious. But you have that character. You also have Dejanay, who is the typical run-of-the-mill African-American family, a bunch of kids, or at least on TV. She has a bunch of brothers and sisters. You don't really see her parents. She's loud and she's ghetto and she's hilarious and we love her anyway. Then you have Lossy Annika, the Hispanic bully, pretty much. Like, even though she was still cool with them, most of the time she came off as a bully who interrogated and, went back and forth with Penny. And then you have Sticky. You don't really know too much about Sticky's family, honestly and truly. We just know that Sticky is a high-tech genius that somehow always finds the money to come up with these random high-tech gears. I think his father was actually like a spy or military or something like that. But for the most part, he was also like a DJ of the group too. Then you have typical Zoe. Zoe is a hipster. She loves nature. She loves poetry. She is skinny as what? And she is Caucasian. Now you have the whole Proud Family group. Not to mention there's other characters that come in and out of the show, like the Gross Sisters, who are the actual bullies. And I just need to ask this one question. How old were you when you figured out that the Gross Sisters were blue? Because they were just ashy. Like, they were so ashy that they were blue. Y'all wrong. Creators of Proud Family, y'all wrong. Anyway, this is a great voice acting crew. You have Air Spears and so many other ones. The most noticeable voice is Kyra Pratt, who's played other things such as Dr. Dolittle and Bring It On and so on and so forth. And for the most part, all of these voice actors are spectacular. Everything about this show is just hit. They even won awards for at the NAACP and everything for the time period that it came out. But what we loved most about it is the interaction of the people. Everything in here was hilarious. From how Oscar yells at his daughter, from how Penny is always getting in trouble trying to do teenage stuff, from how, they always try to get out of trouble. The random cameos of other actors and celebrities that pop up in this show comes in good timing. The episode of Alicia Keys where they were doing the American Idol situation, which was actually a really good lesson because you had the girl who was talented but she wasn't as beautiful, and that speaks volumes because it's still happening here. But then you had Luciana, who was also talented but not as talented, and somehow she won the contest. You have the episode where Mariah Carey comes in, and that's hilarious how all the guys are falling all over her, and she has her monkey, their hip-hop version of Romeo and Juliet. The episode where they talked about Kwanzaa. That's another thing. They talked about so much in this. Everything from bullying to Kwanzaa to self-esteem to just random teenage stuff, like liking boys and your parents not wanting you to. Penny and her friends decided to join a group, a musical group, and they were supposedly half naked on the show, and their parents kind of explained to them you can do stuff, but you don't have to show your bodies all the time, you don't have to look like this and a third, you don't have to grow up so fast. And I thought that was a good episode at the time. I also find it really funny that Sugar Mama was sticking up for them, and she was just back in the day we had to bump, the romp, the hump, everything. So what they doing now ain't even that big of a deal. And I thought that was hilarious. Family, there is an episode where they talked about the Matrix, and I thought it was clever how at the time period, when people were burning CDs, and that's technically was stealing music, they had an episode of that and how it was wrong, and it's just hilarious. You had other side characters like Wizard Kelly, who was supposed to be this big basketball guy who owned half the city. Wizard Kelly Jr., who was another slightly love interest. You had Omarion playing 50 Cent. This show was so great that they had an original animated movie from Disney, which most of us remember because of the Dancing Peanuts. The music was on point. I don't know about you guys, but I had the Proud Family CD, and most of the music I remember because it was either old school, it was hip-hop-ish, and there was a little bit of R&B, and there was a couple of original Proud Family songs that were in there. But the soundtrack was fantastic because it was something that we could relate to. It was jazzy, it was hip-hop-ish, it was just good. You just had nice, clean, positive fun, and there were so many lessons throughout the show, and these are the reasons why we could relate to it. This is a teenager going through teenage stuff with her friends in a neighborhood, a diverse neighborhood, and all we could do was laugh at the antics of the parents as they're learning and the children as they're learning. And I recommend anybody to go and watch this show. It is a 10 out of 10 for me. So I think that's the end of my review, guys. Let me know how you feel about the Proud Family in the comments. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're a Proud Family fan, go and show it to your nieces, nephews, cousins. Alright, Misfits, I'm gonna get on out of here.